Your engine is losing power, and you don't even know it. Every time you fill up with gasoline, microscopic carbon deposits are building up inside your engine, millimeter by millimeter, layer by layer, choking the parts that deliver fuel to your cylinders. And one day you notice it. Your truck hesitates when you merge onto the highway. It shakes at a stoplight. Your gas mileage drops 2 or 3 miles per gallon, and you can't figure out why. Maybe your check engine light comes on with a code that sends you straight to the dealer. My neighbor Dale brought me his 2016 Silverado last spring, said the dealer told him he needed a full fuel system service. $412. Said his engine was running rough, losing fuel economy, and that carbon buildup was the problem. And the dealer was right about the problem, I'll give him that. But $412 to fix it? That's where the lie starts. Because there is a bottle sitting on a Walmart shelf right now for $12 that contains a chemical compound the automotive industry has known about for decades. A compound so effective that every major fuel company in the world already puts a trace of it in their gasoline. But they don't want you to know that you can buy it concentrated. Pour it in your tank, drive normally, and let it do in one fill-up what the dealer charges $400 to do. I've known about this for most of my life. Every honest mechanic has. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, why it works, and why no dealer in America will ever mention it to you. Now, before I tell you what's in that bottle, you need to understand what's happening inside your engine. Because once you see this, you'll never look at a dealer service recommendation the same way again. Your engine runs on thousands of tiny explosions per minute. Gasoline has to get into each cylinder at exactly the right moment in exactly the right amount, as a fine mist, not a drip, not a stream, a mist. That's what your fuel injectors do. They're precision nozzles sitting right at the entrance of each cylinder, firing open and shut hundreds of times per second. When they're clean, the mist is perfect. The fuel burns completely. Your engine makes full power, and your gas mileage is where it should be. But here's the problem. Gasoline is not clean. Every gallon you burn leaves behind a thin film of carbon. It's unavoidable. It's a byproduct of combustion. Over 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 miles, that carbon accumulates on the tips of your injectors. The spray pattern goes from a fine mist to an uneven dribble. Now the fuel isn't burning completely. One cylinder gets too much, another gets too little. And that's when the symptoms start. Rough idle at a stoplight, a stumble when you accelerate from a dead stop, that half-second hesitation when you try to pass somebody on the highway and the engine just doesn't respond like it used to. Your fuel economy drops 1, 2, 3 miles per gallon, slowly enough that you don't notice it until you're spending $40 extra a month at the pump. And if it gets bad enough, your car's computer throws a code, P0300, random misfire, P0171, system 2 lean. Check engine light comes on, and now you're really worried. This happens to every car. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Ram. Doesn't matter what badge is on the hood. If it burns gasoline, the injectors are collecting carbon. It is the most universal maintenance issue in the automotive world, and it's the one the industry has figured out how to profit from the most. And that's exactly when the dealer makes his move. Here's what happens when you bring your car in with those symptoms. The service writer pulls up your mileage, sees you're past 30,000, and says the magic words, "We recommend a fuel injection service." He might even show you a little display on the counter, a row of glass vials with dark, dirty fluid next to clean, golden fluid. That display was made by the chemical company that sells the cleaner to the dealer. It's a sales tool. It's designed to scare you. And it works because you're looking at what might be inside your engine, and it looks terrible. Now, let me tell you what actually happens when you say yes to that $400 service. A technician walks over to your car with a metal canister about the size of a coffee thermos. Inside that canister is a cleaning solution, usually a product called BG44K. The dealer pays about $24 for that can. The technician hooks it up to your fuel rail, starts the engine, and lets it run for 15, maybe 20 minutes while the cleaner flows through your injectors. That's it. That's the service. No disassembly, no special equipment that you couldn't operate yourself. A can of chemicals, a hose, and 20 minutes of your engine idling in the service bay. Some dealers don't even do that much. I've seen service orders where all they did was pour a bottle into the gas tank, the exact same thing you can do in your own driveway, and charge $230 for it. A Honda Ridgeline owner posted his receipt online. $230. No parts. Just cleaning and a can of cleaner dumped in the tank. That's what the service writer called it. Cleaning and a can. $230 for pouring liquid into a hole. The chemicals cost the dealer $30 to $50. The actual hands-on labor is less than 20 minutes. Industry data shows the profit margin on this service exceeds 70%. And here's the part that should make your blood boil. This service is not listed in any manufacturer's maintenance schedule. Not Ford, not Chevy, not Toyota, not Honda. Honda actually put out an official statement telling their own dealers to stop recommending it because it's unnecessary under normal driving conditions. Car Talk investigated it and concluded the same thing. For most drivers, it's a wallet flush, not a fuel flush. The service writers push it because they work on commission. Every unnecessary service they sell puts money in their pocket. The dealer pushes it because it's the most profitable 20 minutes in the entire service bay. In metropolitan areas, dealer labor rates have pushed past $200 an hour. They're billing you an hour of labor for a job that takes a third of that. The math is ugly when you see it, but it's even uglier when you realize they're doing this to thousands of customers a month at every dealership in every city across the entire country. And the whole thing depends on you not knowing what I'm about to show you. The chemical that makes all of this work, the one inside that dealer's canister, the one inside every professional fuel system cleaner on the market, has a name: polyetheramine. The industry calls it PEA, and it is the only fuel additive compound ever proven to survive the heat of combustion and actively dissolve carbon deposits inside an engine. Not reduce them, not slow them down, dissolve them. PEA works because of how it's built at the molecular level. Most fuel additives break apart the second they hit combustion temperatures. We're talking over 500 degrees inside those cylinders. They evaporate before they can do anything useful. That's why most of those $5 fuel additives at the gas station register are worthless. They burn up before they ever reach the deposits. Sea foam, rubbing alcohol blends, generic fuel system cleaners with no PE listed on the label, most of them are solvents that flash off in the heat and leave your carbon deposits exactly where they were. PEA doesn't. It bonds to carbon deposits, breaks them apart from the inside, and carries them out through the exhaust as the engine runs. It cleans the injector tips, the intake valves, and the combustion chambers, the three places where carbon buildup destroys your engine's performance. And it does it while you drive. No machine, no technician, just chemistry doing what chemistry does. Now here's what the industry doesn't want you to connect. Every major fuel company in the world already puts PEA in their gasoline. Chevron, Shell, ExxonMobil, Costco, they all use it. It's what makes top tier gasoline top tier. An AAA study found that top tier gas leaves 19 times less carbon deposits than cheap gas. 19 times. The cleaning power is real. It's proven. Nobody disputes it. But the amount they put in a gallon of pump gas is a maintenance dose. It's enough to slow down the buildup. It's not enough to reverse 50,000 miles of carbon caking your injectors shut. That's where this bottle comes in. Chevron Techron Concentrate Plus. $12 at Walmart. 12 ounces of concentrated PEA, the exact same compound. Just 10 times stronger than what's already in their gasoline. You pour it into your gas tank before you fill up. You drive normally. And over the course of that single tank, it does exactly what that dealer machine does. It dissolves the carbon on your injectors, cleans your intake valves, and burns out the deposits in your combustion chambers. No appointment, no labor charge, no $24 can of BG44K marked up to $400. You walk into Walmart, you pick it up off the shelf in the automotive aisle, and you pour it in your tank in your own driveway. Takes less time than pumping gas. Chevron recommends using it every 3,000 to 5,000 miles or once a season. 1 bottle per tank. That's 4 bottles a year, $48 total, to keep your entire fuel system clean year-round. The dealer wants $400 for a single visit that lasts 20 minutes. You do the math. Think about this for a second. The dealer's own cleaning machine uses PEA. The gasoline you pump into your car every week contains PEA. Chevron sells a concentrated version of it at Walmart for $12. The science is public. The AAA study is public. The ingredient is printed right on the bottle. None of this is hidden. So why doesn't your service writer mention it? Because the fuel injection service is one of the highest margin items on the entire dealer menu. The chemicals cost them less than $50. The labor takes less than 20 minutes. And they charge $3, $4, sometimes $500 for it. Multiply that by every car that rolls through their service bay in a week, in a month, in a year. We're talking millions of dollars in pure profit across the industry. That's not a service, that's a revenue stream. And a $12 bottle at Walmart threatens every cent of it. It's not just the dealers. The quick lube chains do the same thing. Jiffy Lube, Valvoline, Pep Boys, they all have their version. Fuel system cleaning, recommended every 30,000 miles. They have the posters on the wall. They have the dirty fluid vials on the counter. They have the script memorized. And every single one of them knows that a bottle of Techron in the customer's gas tank would make their service pointless. I had a neighbor, retired school teacher, bring me her invoice from one of those chains last year. She went in for an oil change, came out with a fuel injection cleaning, a throttle body service, and an engine flush she never asked for. $318 on top of her oil change. She was afraid to say no because they told her the engine could be damaged if she waited. That's how it works. They don't sell you information. They sell you fear. And the thing that keeps the whole machine running is the assumption that you don't know what PEA is, that you've never heard of Techron, that you'll never walk down the automotive aisle at Walmart and pick up the same chemical compound they're charging you 10 times the price for. The entire business model depends on your ignorance. And now you know. And here's something else nobody's telling you. Not all gasoline is the same, not even close. Back in 1996, the EPA set a minimum standard for how much detergent has to go into every gallon of gasoline sold in America. That sounds like a good thing, right? It was, until the oil companies realized they could cut costs by dropping their detergent levels down to that minimum and keeping them there. Some of them had been putting in more before the regulation even existed. The government set a floor, and the industry turned it into a ceiling. The car manufacturers saw what was happening. By the early 2000s, they were getting engines back with carbon buildup at 30,000 miles that they shouldn't have seen until 100,000 miles. So in 2004, a group of automakers, GM, Toyota, Honda, BMW, got together and created their own fuel standard. They called it top tier. To qualify, a gas station has to use 2 to 5 times more detergent than the EPA minimum. No exceptions. Every grade, regular through premium. There are over 100 brands that meet the top tier standard today. Chevron, Shell, ExxonMobil, Costco, Mobil, the big names. Costco actually goes even further. They put 5 times the EPA minimum in their fuel. 5 times. And they add the detergent on site at each location to make sure the concentration is right. But that gas station on the corner with the lowest price in town, the one with no brand name on the sign, they're meeting the EPA minimum and not a drop more. And every time you fill up there, you're feeding your engine gasoline that leaves up to 19 times more carbon deposits than top tier fuel. That's not my number. That's from a study A published. They ran standardized tests and found that non-top tier gas left 660 milligrams of deposits where top tier left 34. Think about that. If you've been filling up at cheap stations for 3, 4, 5 years, your injectors are sitting under layers of carbon that top tier drivers never even accumulate. So if you've been running cheap gas for years, your injectors have years of buildup sitting on them right now. And that $12 bottle of Techron isn't just a nice idea. For you, it might be the single most important thing you do for your engine this year. 1 bottle, 1 tank, and decades of carbon start dissolving. $12. Walmart, Automotive Aisle, Chevron Techron Concentrate Plus. Pour it in before you fill up and drive like you always do. That's it. That's the whole secret they've been charging you $400 for. Now you know. And they can't untell you.